Building a community of raving fans can be done in lots of different ways, but the most sustainable and secure way is with a newsletter. Why? Because this is the only way you actually own your audience. If you're attracting a community on a social media platform, you're at that platform's mercy. If they ever shut down or if you got banned from it for whatever reason, you'd lose all of those people. Today, we'll look at a founder who has essentially built his whole business on the back of a newsletter. His name is Pat Walls, and he's the founder of Start a Story. Start a Story is a website that features interviews with entrepreneurs about how they got started and how they're making money, with revenue numbers included. Pat initially started Start a Story as a side project next to his six-figure job on Wall Street. After reading Cal Newport's book Deep Work, he started implementing 2 hours of deep work before he had to go to his day job. At first, he saw this as more of a creative outlet than as a real venture. He even built a SaaS business simultaneously, which he thought would be the thing that he would go all in on. But after a few months, he realized that Start a Story was making him more money with less input. So by October 2018, he had built up a monthly revenue stream of $3,000, and so he decided to leave his day job and go all in on Start a Story. Start a Story was initially sort of a blog where Pat shared interviews of how founders got started and what their revenue streams are. He published each interview as an article, but also sent it out as a newsletter. Initially, he mostly monetized it through sponsorships. In fact, Klaviyo sponsored his entire site and newsletter for the first few years. Later on, he switched to a subscription-based model, so people had to pay a monthly fee to get access to all the case studies. Recently, he's changed his business model again. You now just have to make a one-time payment of $695 to get access to all the case studies, or $1,095 to also get the courses and join their community. After he went all in on Start a Story, he also built an SEO course called Lean SEO, and he's built more courses, making it one of the core revenue sources as well. Fast forward a few years and he's built his business into a literal money machine. His revenue is probably the best example of hockey stick growth I've ever seen. It took him years to get about $5,000 per month, which he achieved in 2020. That grew to $10,000 per month in June 2020, and now just 4 years later, he's at $250,000 per month. He attributes his success mainly to smart hires, his sister being the first one. Now let's look at how he's built a community of raving fans that make him more money per year than some people make in their entire life. We'll focus on his initial traffic and growth sources, as this is what you can start implementing today, even if you're completely new to online community building. The platform that helped him get the first few visitors and newsletter subscribers was Reddit. He started posting all of his interviews in full length on Reddit. He mostly focused on the entrepreneur subreddit, and then simply added the links to his website at the end of the article, telling people that they would find more of these interviews over there. Not all subreddits allow promotion, and some people hated him for posting. But if you're building something great, you'll always attract some haters. On the flip side, most people loved the case studies. And then in December 2017, one interview went viral. Posting on Hacker News also worked well for him, since his target audience also went to the site to read about tech, startups, and business. This is an example of a post that went viral here early on. Now, posting on Reddit and Hacker News worked so well for Pat that he initially didn't even try to get more people from Google. That changed in late 2018 when he focused more on SEO. He's never shared his exact SEO strategy, but he did say that he doesn't do anything that other SEO experts recommend, like using keyword tools or backlinking. Whatever strategy he's using, it has clearly been working extremely well for him though. In September 2018, he got 20,000 page views, of which at least 9,000 sessions came from Google. He shared all of that and announced that he's quit his job in this thread. He also shared a few bits of his strategy in this other thread. Here are the key takeaways. As you can see, Pat shared a lot of his business success on Twitter. In fact, he basically built Start a Story in public. As a result, his Twitter feed is a bit like one huge case study of how he's building his own business. This is another great way to build a community of fans because it feels like you can sit on his shoulder and follow his journey. As such, that makes it super personal, relatable, and almost intimate, as he's also always been super transparent with his revenue. That came in particularly handy when he launched his course Lean SEO. He had 10,000 in pre-orders before he even launched it, with just 10,000 followers on Twitter at the time. These were the results after a week. Another channel he started more recently is YouTube. This is the only place where he currently still shares case studies for free, and I think it's genius. He interviews the entrepreneurs in person, allowing viewers to connect with their story more deeply. As a result, he grew exponentially more quickly here than on the other platforms. After reaching 200k subscribers in the first year, he just added another 60k in 2 months. So that's 260k at the end of April 2024. He shared his YouTube start on Twitter, but he attributes most of his success to working with the right people and learning from his audience. For instance, he asked for feedback on his first YouTube video and implemented a few things Ryan Hashemi recommended. These were key factors in getting his channel to 85k subscribers after publishing only 12 videos. I think that's one of the reasons for his incredible success. He's constantly betting on the winning horse. As a result, his strategies change quite drastically over time as well. But since his early strategy is what will most likely work for you if you don't have much traction yet, we'll start with that. Initially, he used his newsletter to funnel all of his traffic through it. So in early 2018, he had a sign-up form at the top of his page. And then he also added a form to each article. Both would get you all the interviews straight to your inbox. He kept the site pretty much the same for the next few years. But in 2022, he also added a pop-up where he offered a lead magnet. This way, he increased the chance of people signing up as they now got something extra for free. In 2023, he optimized the whole process even more, leading to a jump from 200 to 2,000 newsletter signups per day within just a few months. Alex Garcia broke down exactly what he's done in this article. By the way, you find all the links and all the examples in the newsletter edition of this video, which is the first link in the description, so make sure to sign up for that as well. From what I could find, he changed his business model to subscriptions in early 2023. So he doesn't send the stories as emails anymore. Now he uses his newsletter to share personal stories and promote webinars or workshops. His current emails are great, but he's leaving money on the table by not fully using his email list. Instead of sending the whole case study, he could just send teasers to get more signups for his database. But since he absolutely loves testing, it could also be that he'll change that soon again. And it definitely still seems to be working for him. He just recently reached 250,000 subscribers. Here are the 3 things to focus on if you want to replicate Pat's success. Find platforms where your target audience is. When Pat just launched Start a Story, he got the first bit of traction within just a few months. He managed that by getting in front of existing audiences. Instead of starting with an empty social media account, he posted in subreddits and on Hacker News where he could get in front of hundreds of thousands of people every day. There are subreddits for almost every niche and audience. So this is a great starting point. Other ideas to get in front of an existing audience are Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, or Indie Hacker. SEO is still the best way to get sustainable organic traffic. While it's certainly more competitive than 6 years ago, there is still plenty of keywords that are easy to rank for. Keywords and search volume aren't static. There are constantly new ones coming up that aren't very competitive yet. Pat doesn't use any keyword tools. Instead, he just looks for autocompletes and then tests a bunch to find winners. This is a great starting point. Another strategy that works well for newer websites is the KGR method. I covered that in detail in my SEO crash course to find low competition keywords with high search volume. Building in public almost guarantees a loyal following. While it might take some testing to figure out what resonates with your target audience, sharing your process builds trust and makes people want to support you. Sharing revenue or income reports is even better. That transparency is what attracts people like a magnet. But even just sharing what you're working on, what you're struggling with, and achieved milestones get people engaged. And that makes it so much easier to launch a product or service because your audience already feels invested in it and they're excited about the launch. Alright, so that's how Pat can bring in 250k per month. Now, if you want to see more of these founder stories, how these founders get started and build incredible revenue sources and raving fans in the process, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future case studies. Talk soon. Bye.